Under the Scope.
Hey everybody, it is Jared and Shane, that's me. This is another Scope summer movie review. We're really taking care of business, aren't we, Jared?
We are.
We've
Been a couple weeks, but we're back.
We're passing up Transformers because we did not get free tickets to that train wreck of a
We
film.
will not pay.
We will not do it, so sorry if you're expecting that. Too bad. Good news is we just saw a new movie. It's a little indie film, Jared, from Amazon Studios called The Big Sick.
The Big Sick.
Starring, that's your job.
Kumail Nanjiani. You know him from Silicon Valley.
What else do we know him from?
Silicon Valley.
The world of stand-up. You've
Yes.
seen him around.
Yes. If you're familiar with him, you've probably seen him in
Yeah.
other things. He's had bit roles in movies here and there, but primarily Silicon Valley, and now The Big Sick.
Central Intelligence he had a bit role in, Jared.
He did. He co-wrote this with his wife, Emily V. Gordon, and it is, I would say, I don't know their entire life, but I would say it's at least semi-autobiographical.
Yes.
I'm guessing that some of it is fictionalized as well, but
Yep.
it's definitely about his life and how they met and a big event in their life.
Correct. Also starring who else?
Ray Romano,
Ray Romano.
Holly Hunter. Who
Uh,
else? Bunch of comedians.
What's her?
Adi Bryant from SNL. You know
Yeah.
her. A little cameo from David Allen Greer.
Yes, and everybody else you probably would not recognize.
Unless
but-
you're a fan of comedians, at the B and C level and maybe even below. I think most of the comedians, if not all of the comedians in the movie, were played by actual comedians.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So let's dig into the plot a little bit, Jared. Tell us what The Big Sick is about.
Well, Kumail is a Pakistani American. He family came from Pakistan when he was young, and they're very Pakistani. They follow their culture.
They're very Pakistani.
Well, I mean, they're Muslim. They still at least his mother still believes in arranged marriages, which
Sure.
is part of the culture. And this is an issue for Kumail because Kumail is he's Pakistani American, but he really is American. He's unsure of his own beliefs. He's definitely not down with arranged marriages.
He doesn't want to be a lawyer.
No.
He's taking the forbidden path of stand-up comedian.
Exactly. So that's his challenging role. Emily, he meets one night in the club where he's doing a little quick 5 to 10 minute set. She is a graduate student. She's learning. She's going to be a therapist.
Yep. Psychology.
And she's definitely not dating right now. So they have a little one night stand, a little hookup. But it's very clear that they're not going to be dating. Yet these two cannot seem to not date.
Look, you're very animated about this.
And there's a bunch of little funny back and forth about what the rules are and stuff like that. And they're definitely not dating, but they're dating. Come on,
Right.
they're dating. Until one day, they sort of break up, and Camille gets a call that Emily has gotten sick. She
Yeah.
might have the flu. We're not sure what, but she's at the hospital. Her friend couldn't stay with her because they've got finals and whatnot. So she calls Kumail to come and hang out with her just so she's not alone. And so that's just how they sort of reconnect. And then everything sort of spirals out of control there. And she ends up in a medically induced coma. And this would be sort of the title, The Big
Yep.
Sick.
Yep.
And the rest of the story revolves around her time in the coma. Her parents come out from North Carolina to be with them. And so Kumail gets to meet them. They hang out, and there's a lot of bonding there, a lot of discovery.
You know, he sort of finds who he is while she is asleep, essentially.
Pretty much.
So, and then I guess the story goes, what happens, and
Yeah.
how do these people change, I
Yep.
guess.
There's also clashes of culture because you've got the Pakistani culture colliding
Correct.
with the more American culture, and how is this going to resolve it? It's a whole thing.
Right. So, a terrific summary, Jared, as always. I mean, this is where you shine.
Sometimes I nail and sometimes I don't.
I think you stuck the landing. We didn't give too much away. So let's talk about this film.
Okay.
I think that it's interesting. It is. I think what I liked about this film is the feeling of authenticity
Yes.
and truth that comes from it.
Yes.
It does not feel like a particularly manufactured story. It feels like it comes from a place of honesty. I think
It's a funny movie, but the jokes are not. They don't feel like
Yep.
they're artificial or constructed. They spring out of the moment. I mean, he's a stand-up comedian, both in real life and in the film. So he's naturally a funny person, and sometimes there's just some riffing that goes along. But
it doesn't that take the pressure off of it being a being a comedy because
Yeah.
you have comedians who are essentially telling jokes and doing their things, and so it feels natural to the characters.
Right. Even Ray Romano is also a funny person.
Yeah.
And Holly Hunter has done a lot of comedy work. So everyone's a funny person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that is a pitfall that this film could have fallen into. It's you've got a lot of funny people. We can craft all these really funny situations. But the film avoids that for the most part. I think it everything is, as you said, comes from a place of honesty.
Yeah, it does, and I think you also have to think about the acting performances in here, which are across the board
Fantastic.
pretty solid.
Fantastic. Not pretty solid. Fantastic.
Pretty solid. I'm a.
Okay, maybe so the comedians were they were themselves. That's fine.
But yeah, I mean,
Our primary characters were I think well done throughout.
You bought into the relationship, sort of the back and forth that they had, especially early on. Again, it felt real. So anytime you get a film like this that's dealing with subject matter that's torn out of somebody's day-to-day life and how weird things happen,
Right.
the more personal and real it feels, the better off the film is going to be. And I think that they really really hit it.
Kumail does a really great job of playing Kumail.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a positive way. I mean, he's open, he's raw. He's got a lot of times where where things are awkward, or he needs to actually be like physically emotional in a scene, and I think he pulls it off.
Yeah, I think he does too. I think that the parents of Holly Hunter and Ray Romano were spectacular, but clearly they're world-class actors. I don't know. I don't know how much you know about Ray Romano beyond Everybody Loves Ray, but I'm telling you,
he was great in American Hustle.
Everything that I've seen him in as an actor, he has nailed it. I mean, he was so good in Parenthood. He was so good in Vinyl. He was so good in American Hustle. I mean, it's still Ray Romano. He is such a personality, but he's so good.
And he's I mean, as a comedian, he knows timing, and timing sometimes is everything.
Correct. And Holly Hunter is always
fantastic.
A master thespian. So, great movie. Right?
I flat out loved this movie. I thought it was hilarious. It was sweet. It was adorable. It was touching.
It did it all.
It was 2 hours of film, but it didn't feel like it to me. I could have watched another hour. I just really enjoyed hanging out with these characters and seeing their lives. Just a fantastic film.
I think there's part of me that thinks that you enjoyed hanging out with me. And that with this movie, it was just icing on the cake.
Well, that might be a little bit of it.
Thank you very much. So while we debate what flavor of cake that is, let's figure out a scope score.
The scope score is 4 stars.
So wowzy wow, 4 stars.
4 stars. Our first 4-star of the year. Maybe. When did we give any 4 stars last year? I don't even know.
I don't know. We don't
tell us if we did.
We don't give them very often, and oftentimes the 4-star movies are films like this.
Yeah,
films that surprise.
The smaller films. The Perks of Being a Wallflower was a 4-star film.
Yeah,
another small character-driven film
that felt authentic.
Exactly.
So there we go. People know what the scope likes, and it's this film.
If you like Kumail Nanjiani, see this film. You'll love it.
If you don't like him.
If you like funny films that feel honest, see this film. If you like heartwarming love story, romantic films, see this film.
If you like giant robots destroying Chicago,
don't see this film.
Oh.
This is not your kind of film. We had
Did you see the cameo of Bumblebee?
No, but there was a dog urinating, so
there we go.
Yeah, no, so there was not.
As we were walking out of the film, it's a sneak preview, so they always have the person that's running the presser, and she's always gathering notes to find out, what people think. And
she doesn't want your vanilla opinions. She wants your Rocky Road. She wants your highfalutin flavors.
She said that, and we didn't laugh. But it's interesting, Jared, when we go to these films.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, when people give their opinions to her, they almost universally love it, even if it's a garbage film. Because I think people
it's not for free. They don't care that much.
People don't want to be mean, and most of the time, these sneak preview movies are not as good as advertised.
Correct.
They're not the high quality film. Sometimes, but most of the time, especially during the summer, you're seeing stuff that maybe isn't going to blow up the box office.
Exactly.
So you would expect that same sort of response to her, great film, whatever. And some guy goes, not my kind of film. Like a big dope.
Why did you...
what kind of film did you think
you were going to see? Come on.
You stupid, heartless prick. So there we go, Jared. If you want to talk about that stupid, heartless prick, how do they communicate with us,
You can
Jared?
slay him right down below. Like,
Slay
comment,
him.
subscribe.
Perfect, Jared. That's it. He gave him the neck slash. I love it. So, terrific movie, Jared.
I loved it.
It'll be hard to top this summer film. There are good things coming.
You know what? You could see it any time of the year. It
Yep.
doesn't have to be summer. It's a great film.
And because this is a complete culture cast, Jared, we might cover that next great film.
We might.
So for Jared, this is Shane. Thanks for being a patron of The Scope. We appreciate it.
Patreon.com/The Scope Show.
And until next time, bye for now.